What's up, everyone? So today I have another video for you guys about the 2023 holiday update. There's a lot of worry and contradiction online about whether or not it affects the autopilot and the amount of nag that you have to uh, endure while driving. And so basically, I'm gonna record on interstates, highways, and some more just regular backish roads and see how it affects it after the update and before the update. I also have a camera cover, and I'm gonna see if there's a difference between having the camera cover on and off. So hopefully this will help and people either will be or won't be as worried about the update. Um, I'm hoping that it's not going to be that big of a difference because some people are saying it's not bad and some people are saying it's completely nerfed and ruined autopilot and made it unusable. So today we're going to find out. Let's get into it. So to start out, we're going to drive with autopilot on the previous update as a control so that we can see what we're comparing against. So first I took it on the interstate to see how long it would go, and it goes from the minimum 15 seconds to 45 seconds max. That's the duration about that it would vary depending on different situations, depending on traffic probably, or how visible the road lines are. But on the interstate, it's anywhere from between 15 seconds to 45 seconds. It's always different. I'm not really sure what makes it a little different in each scenario, but it works very well. Next, I went onto a highway, which was single lane through a small city. Against the sun, it was every 15 seconds without fail in that spot where it was 35 miles per hour. But then as soon as it got onto a road that was a little faster, like 55, it was fine. It was doing 45 seconds. That's with the camera covered and without it covered. Also, I tested going through a traffic light because I heard there might be some changes around traffic lights. So I decided to try to drive through a green light. It didn't give me any extra notifications. It was within the 45 seconds, no extra notifications. Next, I went onto a curvy back road. It worked very well. It still nagged a little. If you look away from directly ahead, it will alert you silently on the screen, but it still did the 45 seconds with the camera covered and uncovered, even on a back road with no line on the right side. So overall, the experience is pretty simple and very easy and comfortable to use. So now let's go ahead and get the update. So as soon as I got the update, I immediately noticed a lot of audible alerts, which were a little bit shocking at first. I thought, wow, this is going to be a terrible autopilot experience. All the people were right. But as I started driving and trying to figure out why it was making the audible alerts, I think I got it down. So basically what I noticed is on the new autopilot, the main difference is as soon as you engage autopilot, if you're not holding onto the wheel right away, it's going to visually and audibly alert you, which could get very annoying. But as long as you're holding onto the wheel for the first 5 seconds, as soon as you engage autopilot, you'll be fine. If you build your muscle memory, you'll be fine. When it comes to how much the camera nags you for looking away from the road, I'm not really sure because I have not much to compare to, but you should be looking at the road anyways. So I don't think it's really that big a deal, even if it's more strict. I personally have a camera cover that I can slide open and close, but I have one only because it is and always has been annoying to be choosing a song while you're driving and in autopilot with nobody in front of you and it yells at you, and I just don't like being yelled at by my car. So that's why I have the camera cover. I'm not telling people that it's okay to be driving while looking at your phone or texting or not looking at the road. I still think you should have your hands on the wheel. I always thought this was very weird on autopilot. If you don't have enhanced autopilot or full self-driving or anything, when you're pulling up to a red light and there's no cars in front of you, autopilot would just drive right through. I mean, I've never had it happen, but it never told you to slow down. You would have to hit the brake yourself. On the new update, it actually has an alert, a big stop alert that pops up on the screen and it yells at you. And it might even stop, but I don't want to test that. So that was actually kind of a cool improvement on this update. Another thing I noticed with this update is during the rain, it really slows down your speed. It's gone to the speed limit. It might have even gone under, I'm not 100% sure. That was a little bit annoying, but it's not too bad. And that understandable, like it's rain. I usually don't use it in the rain, but it wasn't that hard of a rain, I guess because it was also night. Mostly the issue that could come from this update is the fact that there are a lot of false alerts, and there always have been, where it thinks your hand isn't on the wheel when you have pressure. I had one weird situation I have to mention that actually happened 2 days in a row on the same road, but the third day it was fine. So I don't know what was going on there, but I got some video of it as well. So I would turn on autopilot, it would start flashing blue and I would be putting pressure on the wheel, but it would ignore the pressure. One time it figured it out after a few seconds, which was kind of scary because I thought it was about to get a strike. But the other 2 times, I would actually have to just basically like cancel the autopilot by flicking the wheel. And I also tried the scroll wheel, but that didn't actually work there, so I was surprised. I don't know if it's a glitch or if that's intentional. But yeah, that was a little bit weird, and hopefully they fixed that. So basically the main reason that any of this matters is that Tesla introduced the 5-strike system to this autopilot, the same way that full self-driving used to have. And so now if you get a forced disengagement, it counts as a strike, and you get 5 strikes and you lose autopilot for a week. And the only way to reset that is to get your 5 strikes and then serve your time for the week. And that would be really bad if you're about to go on a road trip and you get your 5th strike, and then you don't have autopilot for your road trip. That would be terrible. So that's the one thing that I was worried about. But I think overall it'd be really hard to get a strike if you're actually driving properly and paying attention and holding the wheel. The one thing that I was worried about, the only type of strike I technically ever gotten, was when it had to do with accelerating past the autopilot limit, which cancels your autopilot for the rest of the trip, which is what constitutes a forced disengagement. But in this situation, I actually tried it with the new update. It doesn't actually count towards your strikes. So that's great, because that one I feel like shouldn't count, because that's an emergency. Usually happens in an emergency when you need to accelerate real quick, like if you need to pass somebody real quick. But that hasn't happened to me since I got the car, because right after it happened the few times, I just got used to actually just canceling autopilot the second right before you need to make a maneuver. So that's one thing that you don't have to worry about. So basically, as long as you're actually paying attention, holding the wheel, and not messing around with your phone, you should be pretty much safe to not get any forced disengagements or any strikes. So overall, I think this update's not that bad. Overall, it's probably a little safer, and make sure that people will pay attention a little more. And so if you guys have any questions or comments, you guys can leave them below. Any other additional information that you guys found. But yeah, it's been fun. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.